Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is Atomfall day. I haven't finished the game yet, but I'm about 6 hours in and I am totally in love with this title. And I honestly, from the get-go, I want to recommend this to people. This game is definitely what I wanted it to be and more, and I really don't want people to sleep on it. So I had to make a video. It is one of the best Steam Deck games we've had in a while in terms of stability and performance. You can play this game however you want in terms of fidelity. I'm just running mine pretty much standard. I'll show you my settings in a moment, but I just wanted to say I'm playing this at a 40 FPS lock on my Steam Deck using SteamOS, locking it to 40, and I'm having a great time. This game is definitely going to be in my Game of the Year contenders, I can tell you that already. So while we're here, let's go over the graphical settings that I've picked for my playthrough of Atomfall. They do need to fix HDR. It currently isn't engaging on the OLED model, but apart from that, you can have a great time. I have VSync on here, but you don't have to have that on. Quality, I've gone into custom here, and I've got anti-aliasing on ultra and text to detail on ultra. Everything else is on medium. The only thing turned off is tessellation. That's just way too heavy. I did turn it on just to have a play. Unfortunately, it did not go very well. Other than that, I make sure that frame rate is on unlimited, and then everything else is set to on, and then reduce mouse input. Make sure that's turned off, as that will cause massive issues. So without further ado, that is basically the rundown. The game is verified, it works really well, but yeah, putting the frame rate on unlimited and then limiting it on the Steam Deck OS, you do gain a small amount of input lag, but better than going to a 30 FPS cap or trying to get to 60 by having to turn down too many settings. So I've gone for a solid 40 and I'm having a great time. So the rest of this video is just me going to be talking about this game, and if you've been on the fence about it, why I think you should get it. And again, all this footage is from the Steam Deck, so if you like the look of it, go pick it up. I really don't want people to miss this, because this is what I would say a high quality AA game, and this is what the industry needs more of. This is what we need to be seeing more of. Like, there's things that can be improved in here. The AI is a bit wonky, I'll admit that. I'm not going to be I'm going to fall on my sword or anything and say this game is perfect, 10 out of 10. But it's filling all the obligations of a AA game, and it's $70 NZ dollars, by the way. That's, I think, a reasonable price for what we're actually getting here. That's for the non-deluxe edition. So if you haven't heard or seen anything about this is a single player, semi-zoned, open world RPG light survival game. It's weird. It's not really a survival. I don't call it a survival game. There's crafting, which you need to craft bandages, and you have bleeding and acid damage that you have to heal and things like that. But there's no drinking or eating, so it's not. When they say it's survival, it's survival light, which is perfect for me personally. And on the go, it's working great. So one of the great reasons I'm really enjoying this, especially on Steam Deck, is the fact that it's actually a PS4 and Xbox One release. So they're working with the constraints of those systems, which means we get the benefit of that on Steam Deck. And the fact they've gone for zones that you load into, including buildings, means that we don't have potential open worlds which cause death and destruction. I mean, it's funny because we have things like Assassin's Creed Shadows that's come out recently, which also seems to run reasonably well on Steam Deck. Not that I've played it. I'd love to give it a go. I think the hate for that game has been way outblown. Anyway, back to Atomfall, which is working like a champ and deserves some attention. I feel like Assassin's Creed's sucking up all the air, so I want Atomfall to get its time to shine. You have semi-sized zones that you can go between with loading screens, and within each one there is a multitude of buildings to explore, places to go, bandits to fight, and so on and so forth. Instead of the natural quest design of getting told where to go. You have thing called investigations, and you just read your journal, which will say where things could be, and then you look on the map, see if you can find it, and then head there. Sometimes they have coordinates, sometimes it will just say northwest, blah blah blah, and you'll make your way there, and you'll find something. I've spent 6 hours just exploring and clearing the first zone, which is the Dales. I went through and just found everything I could. And then moved on to doing some of the interchange stuff, which I don't want to talk too much about because this game is very cool. And now I'm just spending some time in Wilhelm, the first town, well, the major town, I would say. It's quite a large town. This is it here. And I think this is one of the reasons I'm really liking the game is the pace. You can take this a lot slower. It's not a run and gun game. You don't have to rush around doing everything as fast as humanly possible. I do like the laid-back approach to this. While combat can be very frantic, and you'll see that in this footage, the actual minute-to-minute of walking around town is just nice. I think I have a soft spot for old English buildings and cottages. I love this village green and the town with its small buildings and everything like that. I think the aesthetic of this game is awesome. And one of my favourite points, along with the way that the story is unfolding, it all just works really well. Combat, I don't mind. I like the one-shot headshot stuff with your weapons and that. I really think that's a great way of doing it. My biggest problem is not having a parry or a block, because I don't mind using one-handed. You get a bunch of melee weapons, one-handed and two-handed, along with weapons, ranged weapons, but a lot of the time with melee weapons I like using a little knife weapon that does bleed. But if you're fighting an enemy, there's no way to block their attack. You just have to slowly move backwards or turn around and run away, and then turn around and re-engage. There's no way to dodge or block, so it gives it's a bit of a struggle sometimes dealing with that situation. So hopefully, I don't know whether they could do it post-launch, but maybe adding to single-handed weapons a block, that would work really well. Here's some combat I was talking about. It can get pretty full-on, so you always kind of want to go for headshots here. These thralls are quite tough. I was having a really hard time taking them down, especially when you start engaging more than one at a time here. They can really do some damage. As you can see, I do have a kick, but it's not really a block. It doesn't quite fill that niche that I would have been hoping for, but it does work. Hopefully I'm not giving away too much here. This is the entrance to the interchange, so if you don't want any spoilers, maybe not look. I don't know, that's weird, but you do what you want to do here. But I just want to show off this game because it's worth playing. It's hard to, I did buy this game. I didn't get it as a review code or anything like that. I actually bought this and I'm loving every minute of it. And you might have seen the words bantered around 360 game. And I would say that's a fair assumption. And I think that's where we need to go for games to get to a reasonable price and release. So I really want to support these guys for what they're doing here, because this is a really fun game. I'm hoping for Atomfall 2, and if we have an Atomfall 2, I'd love a few changes. One of the primary ones that apart from the parrying / dodging, is I want this to be a full-on RPG. It's like a semi-RPG, right? I want to have XP and leveling and gear and more loot. I know I'm just trying to say to stop the bloat, but then I'm I want more RPG elements, so I can't really talk, because at the moment I do kind of like the idea of their skill interface, which you'll see in a second, where you find skill books which unlock a set of 3. And then to actually unlock those, you need to find stimulants, and you'll need so many of each to unlock that ability. I find that the skills on offer here can be a little bit boring, like longer pull or shorter pull on your bow, or less swaying with weapons. They could have gone a bit crazy with those, but this is their first time, they're probably trying to keep it reasonably balanced. But you can play this game pretty well on a Steam Deck, and I think it's the perfect way to play. I'm going to put in probably 25 hours here without a sweat. I know people have been finishing this within 20 hours or 15 hours, I think. I think it's a good length, personally. I don't need it to be ultra long, so I'll take it. Along with the fact that there's a expansion coming out at some point in the future, which I'm definitely looking forward to trying. Combat is, I think, kind of fun. Only being able to have 4 quick slots can be slightly annoying, especially because you can't have like everything on there, which I understand why. But it's like if you want to have a grenade, a gun, a melee weapon, you already use 3 slots up, and then it's like if you put a healing item, you can't switch between different gun types to use all your different ammos, so it can be a little bit not disorientating, but you're in the menu quite a lot. So maybe if they can fix that up, that would be great. I do like the limited capacity of your inventory because it makes you think about what you're going to have on you at all times. But there you go. That is my thought. As you can see here, I'm jumping in here to use a health potion for some healing. So without further ado, thank you guys. Go give Atomfall a try, and I'll see you in the next video.